Awesome. Sandra, can you say something?
Hello.
I still hear you. Wow. But I'm going to remove you, ensuring that. All right. Let's give some time for our viewers to join in and let's play our introduction video in the meantime. Hello, everyone. We welcome you all to the third episode of the Collaborative Minds. Today, we have the beautiful Sandra Day with us. Sandra, I'm just going to make sure that I'm still able to hear you. Can you greet our audience?
Good morning. Oh, good afternoon, wherever you are sitting.
And it happened again. It always happens. I'm not able to hear you. So, just a minute. All right. I think I should be able to hear you now.
Good morning
Hello?
or good afternoon, wherever you are. Can you hear me now?
Yes, wonderful, wonderful. I see that I can hear you loud and clear now, and I see that our viewers are joining in. So let's give a couple of minutes for them to join in. So we have our viewers from LinkedIn, Facebook, and also we are live on YouTube. So thank you for everyone who's joining in. And as you join, please do let us know where are you joining from and what are you expecting from this session today? What are you looking forward to? What would you like to know about? Bring in your curiosity. Let us know your questions, and we'll try to address as many as we possibly can in our session today. And if not, we can always get back to you later with the answers. So feel free to uh, just engage. And I see, yep, I see people are joining in. Hello, Darshan. So nice to have you always. Oh, that's my mom joining in from India. Oh, good morning. All right, I see a lot of viewers now joined in. So let's start with the session today. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are in this world. I welcome you all to the third episode of the Collaborative Minds. Today it is all about building family. What we're going to talk about here today and discuss Sandra's journey is about family. Now, this single word family, it means so many different things to all of us have different definitions of what a family is and what it means to be a part of the family. But no matter what the definition is for all of us, one thing is common. All of us, when we say that we are part of a family, we are somewhere fine that we love them and we want to take care of them and they're important to us. That's what a family means. And as the saying goes, family is what you make of it. So, whether they're your blood relatives or friends or pets or your tribe or maybe a combination of all of that, family is something that can offer you support and help. Now, I am intentionally wearing this colorful top today because what family to me, this is what family to me. It is a bit of everything. So let's hear from all of you and let me welcome our guest for today. Um, Here we have Sandra. Let me welcome the beautiful Sandra. Sandra is currently an entrepreneur to three businesses. She's the trustee of the Dehu Property, director and designer in Dehu Construction, and business and family coach at Building Family. She's been married, happily married for 32 years, has 11 children to date, and 6 grandchildren. What a beautiful you and what a beautiful family. I welcome you to the Collaborative Minds, Sandra.
Oh, thank you. I really love being here.
Wow, I'm so excited to hear. There's just tons of questions I already have in my mind. but I'll start from when I saw you for the first time. I remember meeting you at the Foundations of Coaching Success at the event organized by the Coaching Institute, and you were introducing yourself, and you mentioned that you have 11 kids, and I in that time that, oh my god, managing one kid is feels like so much of work to most of us. How
Mm,
are you managing a family and also taking care of the businesses at the
mm,
same time, doing something like coaching, which is so close to your heart, which you're passionate
yeah,
about?
yeah,
What do you have
yeah,
to say about this? How do you do all of
yeah.
this?
That's a great question. It's a question we get asked all the time. People
Right.
say, I have only one child, I only have two children. How do you manage 11? But the key word here isn't I don't manage them. If you take the analogy of the sun, and the sun shines on all of humanity, it still only needs one sun. It doesn't matter how much humanity it shines on, it still has the same impact. That's how I view motherhood. If I had one child or 11 children, I'm still going to be their mother and never change. And I can still shine on my children and have the same impact if I have one or 11. It's not a matter of managing, it's embracing the value that we have to our children. If one of my children was suffering, they don't go to my next door neighbor. They come to me because I have that value to them. And when they come to me, they don't come to me and take any value away. So there's only a little bit left for the next child. It just keeps coming. It just keeps flowing. It never stops. They have value, full stop. And therefore, my contribution to them, my love for them, my collaboration with them, it's just always available, always there. Cup's always full.
Wow.
That's
How
from an
beautiful.
emotional perspective. There's so much more from a management, or I don't like the word management. There's so much from a practical basis, as we only get one child at a time. So we adapt. The first adaptation is massive. Any child who brings their first baby, any person who brings their first baby home can ascend to the fact that that first change is massive.
Mm.
What happens from there, though, is that as each child comes in, it's just a small shift. It's a small shift of understanding and getting to know who that child is, and what their strengths are and what their persuasions are. And our family is being created or invented as each child comes in. And so if we're rooted in the root of love, we're rooted in the root of we see value in this person, we're just making adaptations to be able to flow together as a unit.
Mm.
As opposed to you need to have to behave in a certain way for me to feel safe, or me to find my own value, or for me to have this life that's apart from you, which then needs management. And I wouldn't even call that management, I would call that control.
Mm.
As soon as you bring control into a family, no one likes it. Our number one gift of life is freedom, free choice. As soon as you try and take free choice off a person, then you are on a downward spiral. So you honor that free choice. And I'm not saying my children do whatever they want to do, but we're collaborating together to be able to bring out the best in each other. And the children and the family adopt that culture, they adopt that intention. And so then they're doing it for their siblings as they come in.
Mm.
We're doing it for each other.
Mm.
And there's times where we get a bit selfish, but then there's grace. And if it's not consistent, if it's not something that's happening all the time, then it doesn't need to be addressed. If it is, then we address it and we go, come on, let's get back on board with culture.
Mm. That's just so beautiful. You embody it all. I can see that coming out, that reflection coming out from the way you are being here, right, in this session. And what a beautiful analogy. What Sandra said is, you need to become the sun, and the sun shines equally. And as a mother or as a parent, you are just the same for all of your kids, whether you have one or you have more. And what I also loved about what Sandra just said is not using the word managing, but focusing on collaboration, on creating that environment that I am not controlling you, I am not managing you, but we are in this together. All of us are moving through this together. So
Yeah.
that's such a beautiful. Now, Sandra, I see that you've aced this art of family, but was it always so? Always so? Like, how was it in the beginning for you?
It was trial and error. We were kids. So in the beginning, we basically were kids. When we got married, we still felt like we were children, but we were playing. We were playing a game. And so it was a great adventure.
Wow.
My adventure didn't finish until probably maybe 2 or 3 years ago, but I've retrieved it. And it finished because I got the wind knocked out of me. But before that, it was adventure. And we were just pursuing what was fun. We were pursuing what brought life. We were pursuing play, really. And so when we had our first child, it was like we were playing house. And even 10 years into our marriage, I would turn over to my husband in the middle of the night, or, I'd just turn over and I'd roll over. And this fun thing that we would do before we go to bed was, guess what? And he'd go, what? And I'd say, you're married. And he'd go, yeah. And guess what? And I'd go, what? We had a baby. And we kept that up for years, even 6 or 7 children. Guess what? And we never lost that, oh my gosh, we did that, because we thought we were still kids and we were just playing.
I love that. And I can still see that you feel like that kid. You still do.
Yeah.
It's it's beautiful to take it like that. Playing house, they used to say that it's a game. You parents, and then you try and do things a certain way, and pretty much copying what our parents did. That's what we
Yeah.
do.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, but what you just said, that looking at it, that's something you're building together, something that you're growing, and
Yeah.
not just growing your family, but you are also growing as a person through this.
Yes,
So,
absolutely.
yeah, and
Yeah.
I so many wonderful comments, Sandra. Dr. Pallavi from Delhi in India, she's saying that it's 7:40 a.m. here, and this is like a morning dose of positivity already, and that it's such a beautiful perspective. You're just getting tons and heaps of comments here. So, Sandra, for our viewers and also me, what I want to know is, when did any transformation happen through all of this? Did you feel that there was a particular point in time in your life when you felt that, I've got a handle of this, I really know what this is all about, and I don't need to worry too much, or plan too much, or something like that?
I don't think I felt I ever lost the plot, but I don't think I ever purposed for that to be an intention. I think my growth happened along the way. So in that play, in that adventure, what was happening for me is, if let's use the analogy, tripped over and scraped a knee, or if we bumped into each other relationally, or if we had something that we didn't expect to show up in our life and it was causing pain, then that's the thing that would help us with our growth. We would go, okay, this is an issue. Together, like what we can be tempted to do is, as a family, we're feeling pain, and therefore we go, it must be someone's problem around here. Oh, look, you're closest, it's you. And so we separate as a couple and we blame each other. But we intended to say, okay, it's us against the world. Okay, I don't agree with that, but that was my 19-year-old perspective back then. But we were always going to stay together and say, we have a problem, let's solve this together. And so it was us against the problem. And so what that gained us was a capacity to grow within that problem. And so we were like detectives. We're finding out, why isn't this working? Why is it generating pain? And then we would find out what belief, and we were very fortunate in understanding that we knew that belief produced behavior from a very young age. And so we're going, what are we believing about this situation that is generating an issue in our life? Is it generating a place that we don't want to be in? And so we were able, and that's my growth. And we will go, it's like the surf, we'll go through that growth. So we'll have, a challenge, and it will be like a big dumping wave, and we sort it through. And then the surface calm again for a little while. And, you kind of, being able to splash around and play. And then you'll get another big dumping wave. Some of them are smaller, some of them come in sets. Oh my goodness, you don't think you're ever going to get breath. But within each one of those, you have two choices. You can have a choice, and neither of them are wrong. They're just got to have the wisdom to apply. Do I just need to tread water through this? Am I just going to use coping mechanisms through this? Or do I need to do a deep dive and solve what is generating the problem so it won't repeat itself? And that's, I can name seasons through my life, through my journaling, because I've always journaled. I love writing. I love words, the power in words. I can name each of the seasons that I've learnt through my life and the beautiful moment that you get from them. And each of those now become springboards for me to be able to use to help other people find their own moment in those situations.
Wow. I love it. What you just mentioned, that all of it, there is so much of learning through each of the life turns, through each of the, as you beautifully said, and I love your usage of words. And I see now, I mean, you've been journaling throughout and you love the power of words because you've always so specific, weighing more through each of this, through each of the expression or each of the usage of word, using it appropriately. That's just amazing. And to see from Sandra's journey, what Sandra just mentioned and what is true, that every child, every new stage, whatever is happening in our personal world or in our professional world, every little thing is taking us forward, moving us forward. It's
Yes.
learning at every stage. Um, so that brings me to our next questions. Next question. So, how did you? One is about you. So I know for a fact that you and your, like, both of you are as a team. So it usually happens with most of us, and I am guilty to it as well. That whenever there's a problem, we start looking at whom to blame.
Yeah.
Oh, it's me, it's you. You this, and who initiated this, and who brought about a problem. But you look at it as a team together, and you versus the problem, us versus the that is such a good frame to be in. But I see that you have not a control, but have a grip of how you can be. But how was it for rest of your family members? Were they always so collaborative? Were they always, I don't want to say the word following, but did they always have the same frame of mind as you did? Or how did you help them grow towards that mindset?
The children brought into our family. So my husband and I were fairly much on the same page when we got married in regards to that. We have our differences. We're not cookie cutter. We're polar in some areas. In regards to that, that is our glue. That's what keeps us together. As our children were born, you become like who you hang around. They became like us. And two, for the fact that they didn't have a challenge of culture because we educated at home. So they didn't have that juxtaposition of different choice of a different culture. I'm not saying wrong culture, I'm just saying different. And so we didn't have that struggle, or we didn't have that input to say that we had that conflict of culture. And typically, as the kids grew up around us, if they were to gain a mindset, it was our mindset. It wasn't someone else's. So in that mindset, if then that mindset needed changing, we were going to be working at changing that for us personally. And then they would come along with that journey of us finding freedom, and they would have the moment at their age where we're having it at our age. So we are the best people to help them through that because we know it personally. We can empathize. We can understand any suffering that it's bringing. For someone, if they were, say, just use this for an example, going to school, or if they were involved, in something else, if they spent a lot of time with someone else, hopefully then within that arena, if someone was to have a mindset that was not helpful or not one that they wanted the outcomes from, hopefully they would then be able to observe any freedom that that person or that arena would take them through. But where I gain, what I love about this is that the power then is for me at home, because any freedom I find from any limiting beliefs, I have all control to grow in it. Whereas I don't have control of someone else outside to gain their freedom, nor do they have the right to suggest that they do.
That's so important. That's so important what you just said, Sandra, because most of us, I'm sure my our viewers would agree, most of us want to change something external. They think that somebody else should change to accept me. Like and again, I'm guilty. I've been guilty of this. I believe that everybody at some point in time has faced it. That we expect someone else to change, that we want the situation to be in a certain way and they should adjust. But what you just shared is, if you want to bring about a change, you bring it to yourself first. The people around you, especially the family, the kids, are observing that change and then they embody it through you.
Yes.
So the learning has to first come to us as parents, or the any change, it has to first come to us for somebody else to. That's powerful.
Yeah, children do as they see, not do as they're told.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I'm laughing because I just did a little video a little while ago, and same was the case with me. When my little one was born, I expected him to do things the way I want him to. That he shouldn't be messing things around. He should just keep everything back in place, and I'm doing it, so he should look at me and follow, and he should. But all of it was me expecting things from him, and at that point I knew that I was trying to control it. Nothing was. Versus as soon as it flipped and I wasn't expecting him to do anything, things started changing, and he was more receptive when being told to what you just said. They do what they see, they don't do what we tell them to.
Wow. And that was one of our seasons, and we developed a little one-liner take home from that particular season was anticipation, not expectation. We are anticipating great things and great habits and great culture, as opposed to expecting them to behave in a certain way.
Just that flip of word, the change of word, expectation. It's much more positive, I would say, definitely. And wow, we just got a comment saying, one must role model the change they want to see. So yeah, I mean, our audience, our viewers are taking heaps from you. So yeah, just the way our perception, it's on them. But when we anticipate, it's on us. It's our analysis, viewing things. That's really,
and as soon as we have expectations on our kids too, it sends a very subtle message to our children that they have to change for us to love them. If we have 100% acceptance of who they are right now, they feel all that love. It doesn't mean that they're not going to grow. And when we don't have the expectation on them as well, what that allows is wiggle room or margin for them to do something from their own choice that will bless us. So there's communication in the relationship too. If they understand that we like things in a certain way, but we don't expect them to deliver, they have then the choice to go, oh, Mum really likes it this way. I'm going to do that. Because who doesn't have a child who's not bringing a picture to their mum or dad or a flower to their mum or dad because they want to pull in, they want to have that warmth, they want to give, they want to impact, they're big people in their life. We give them an opportunity for them to choose that. It gives them opportunity to be who they are within the relationship, as opposed to being a puppet on the end of our strings.
Wow. What's the constant message that's coming from all that you're sharing, Sandra, is the freedom of choice and the freedom of letting them be, give choice to be and provide them the love, support, and the environment around, to know that you anticipate certain things, but it's not that you expect. And also about what you shared is giving them that love. And there are a lot of cultures where people feel that if you love someone too much, you're spoiling them. It will probably limit them. It will not be, and they'll just probably get used to you doing things for them. But what are your opinions about this belief that too much of love spoils someone?
We have another one-liner that's come out of the season is, there's nothing that you can do or there's nothing that you cannot do that will make us love you more or less. So it says the behavior isn't pivotal on our love. Our love will not shy away or move forward toward them based on their behavior. Our love for them is non-negotiable. It just is, because their value is because they're our child. What you were saying, though, is that because we love them so profoundly, we will not enable them. So if they have behavior that we could see that would injure them, we will not enable that. We will put boundaries depending on the age of the child, depending on the understanding, depending what they can own. Even if they're older and they're not owning it well, we will keep that tension in the relationship to carry them for what we need to, but without enabling. So some of our children have needed less tension to be able to see. My job as a mum is to outdo myself at the job. I'm slowly handing over the responsibility of each child, their own life, to be able to be fully interdependent within the family unit. So as I'm handing that out, it's going to be different. It's all organic. It's never on a timeline. It is all hinging on what that child believes of themselves and the world around them. And so to be spot on, a mama and a dad know exactly where their belief is going to be within that certain time frame, and know exactly what would be giving the child too much or too less. And giving them too much will enable them. It will enable them in their where they could be using a lot more muscle or have a bit more of a stretch to grow into the adult that they're going to be. And not to say that's our whole priority, because we adore them where they are. Right now it's perfect. But we still walk forward and we give them a little bit more responsibility, a little bit more, a little bit more.
Again, such an awesome word. Enablement. Enablement. Am I saying it right?
Yes.
You enable them. You don't spoil them. You enable them. Give them the tools to be able to use it themselves. Not use it for them. Not just set it up all for them, but give them that environment and help them enable and pick up the skills themselves while you nurture them. Is that the way that would put it?
Yeah.
Awesome.
But also that word enable could also be moved in a context where you are giving them opportunity to behave in choices that aren't so good. So enabling is a psych term. You say that it's usually within the criteria or being codependent. So to enable within codependency can be used in a negative context as well, just to define between the two of that. So if one of our children were to say, can I have a lolly? One off, fine. We have a health policy or a health culture in our family that we don't buy junk food, we eat everybody else's. So it means if they go to Nana's, they can have a lolly. We're not going to go, no, you can't have that. But if they were to ask for a lolly, we'd say, yeah, have a lolly. But if they were consistently asking for a lolly all the time and they weren't eating anything else, that I would consider that as enabling them in a poor behavior. But to turn that around and, just make that tension a little tighter within the relationship over that issue, so that I take back the responsibility enough for them to be able to then go, okay, that's the poor choice.
Wow.
Being age dependent on how they're managing those choices.
Sure. Yeah, that's a different spin to it. I wasn't looking at it from that angle, but yes, I mean, giving them the freedom of choice, yet sharing or help, not as an authoritative figure, but still knowing that there's someone else who knows better. Would that be, or is it not right? Would that be a right? It knows better, but
yeah, we will never grow our children up to be an island. We always use the word interdependent. So we are a unit. We are a unit. One of the things we noticed, we found out by accident, is that we were far more profoundly impacting on other people when we wanted to help together as a family than we were individually. And so sometimes we would just band together and we would do a working bee for someone, and it makes a big impact on them. Going back to what you were saying with where were we a minute ago? Oh, that was backstory for what did you say a minute ago?
That I know better, or like the sharing the
okay, yes. So to respond to that is that we will never have a stance that we know everything, that we will never have a stance that we're an island, that we always know that we need someone mirroring our behavior, because we're always tempted. We're always tempted just, we might just be tired and we're tempted not to do something when we should be, or I won't use that word should, when it would be beneficial to do that. We're not an island. We will bounce off each other. Even my children I give them permission that if I'm, you know, having a bit of a stretch of how I want my life to be heading or something, we have catchphrases, you know, that they can run, that I allow my 7-year-old to run for my benefit because he feels he's loving me. He also feels an intense power rush being able to say this to me, but that's teaching him that we are accountable to each other, not because of the law, but because we can help. We can help pull each other up. We can help offering each other our muscle, our emotional muscle.
Wow, that's
It
again
doesn't
a
matter how old they are.
wonderful way of saying that you hold each other accountable and be able to provide the help and not order or expect,
Yeah.
but just there to help.
Yeah.
It's amazing. You've got a beautiful compliment for you. I'm just bringing it on the screen. Sandra, you've definitely shown such beauty of your character. I agree, cannot agree more. Um, so moving on, I have a question for you as a woman, and I again feel that many of our viewers would agree that most of the times a lot of females feel that they're putting in their families first, and there's just so much that they're doing, and they have lost a touch of who they are, and you know, just putting everybody else up front ahead of them.
Yeah.
They're starting to forget what it was like to be you, just you.
Yes.
How did you balance that? How did you manage to be?
I can identify with that 100%. I fell into that head first and, you know, didn't see the light of day for ages, for a long time with that. We run a lot of our, you know, every day-to-day things we call tracks. So we run them on tracks. So we set up a strategy and they just run. The next thing happens, the next thing happens, the next thing happens. What that does, it takes the emotion out of it. So we're just doing the next thing and stuff gets done. When you take the emotion out of it, what it does is run the risk of forgetting the person and why you're running the strategy. And if you run the track far too long past its due date, that can happen. Exactly what you explained can happen, and it did happen to me. And I had to rediscover myself. Every now and then I would tap in. I've always been creative. We've always been entrepreneurs. Our parents before us, both sides, were entrepreneurs. So this is in our blood. We did not have to invent that wheel. It was given to us, and we're extremely thankful for it. So we understood that. We understand the exchange of value as opposed the exchange of an hourly rate. That was a gift to us. When we run on tracks, though, we forget who we are and we forget the big picture, the big why. Why are we doing this? And what is the highest purpose for doing this? And I found a negative thing that I was doing is I thought if I can just tuck away each of the children's needs, make sure that they're okay and that they can run for a bit of time, then I'll sit down and do me. And I'll tap into me and see what I need. But by the time I got around, I was already, you know, running on that track of doing that, but I didn't get off. I would just go around again and I would just tap in again. And so they had grown, but I hadn't. I'd actually been treading water. And I literally broke. My body said, no, outside of the margin, I did break. I had manifestations in my body that took probably 5, 6, 7 years to get back to a place where I could say I feel normal again. So yes, that does happen. I'm very excited when I get to coach a woman through that season to be able to, I have coached in that they are broken and now they need to heal, or they don't know who they are and they need to find who they are again and how they reflect in that. The flip side of that whole story, though, is within that, and this is an honor to be able to say, we've always had entrepreneurial pursuits, even myself. So even though I educate my children at home, they have always known that I've been part of the business, that we do this as a couple, that this is a family, that most of our aims at doing this were for family. So we're generating positions for 5 of our sons work within the building industry. My girls work within the hospitality and the properties. We were providing positions for them. So they knew our pursuits, they knew the reasons. So our children have gone away understanding that everybody has a role to play. And it's not just being a homemaker, or it's not just the management of the home. It's bigger than that. Everyone has a bigger picture than the what do you call it, compartmentalizing. So we don't see a job as you leave the family and go away and do something on your own. We saw we are a family. How can we support us and therefore generate it into a position where it overflows and now helps people that are in our general area? So that we started from core and worked out, as opposed from going out and trying to have seeds flow into core, if that makes sense.
Yes, yes, definitely does. And thank you for sharing that. What you just said, that sharing responsibility, making everyone feel that they're part of everything and not just
Yeah, and
trying,
they are.
not
Yeah,
put labels on us that this is something that I need to do. This is something what the
yeah,
father.
exactly. Yeah, yeah.
Mm,
We're all in it. We're all in the boat.
yeah, wow. And just to start thinking of our everyday from that perspective will have a major change on how we proceed at planning the day, how we proceed in going forward and doing the task and the actual
Yeah,
execution. And
yeah.
while what you just said, the family of entrepreneurs that you have, definitely it was a different setup for you. But even for people who are going in for the day jobs or the service
Yes.
in the industry, in the service-based industry, even for them to be able to share that a view of how their life is when they go to work, and helping the kids to know how the world is outside when they would step in
Yeah.
would also be a good way, because most people try to compartmentalize, as you said, they
Yeah.
don't
Yes.
just when
And we
I'm
don't
home.
break apart well at all. We don't break apart. You can't,
Yeah.
because as soon as you break apart, if you take emotion out of us, we become robotic. We become puppets and we die. We die emotionally, we die spiritually. You can't break us apart like that. We're a package, we're a full package. And the honor that we had was we understood how we work together and collaborate together as a family. We got to take that into the business. And we saw that it actually generated a business that flourished because we brought that heart into the workplace. But what current day workplace wants to do is take the heart out of it. They want to make it clinical. They just want to get behavior and action out of each of their employees. You can't break a person apart. They need to come as a whole person. I'm not saying that you have to be entrepreneurs to have this. You can go to the office, but you need to bring your whole self to the office and have a climate within that office that recognizes the whole person.
Wow. Yeah, the whole of you. See, again, such beautiful compliments for you, Sandra. That it's such a key message that Sandra just said. Bring all of you wherever you go. You
Mm.
don't have a certain part of you behind. And
Mm.
I can imagine, Sandra, how beautiful the projects that you must be working on as a family, because you bringing in not just you bringing in your entire
Mm.
family.
Yes. Yep.
That's
Yep.
beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing it. And now the floor is open for our viewers. Please do pour in your questions. If there's anything specific that you want to know from Sandra, have a few minutes to cater to your questions. Okay, so I have a question from Mohana here. Sandra, do you have any family routine and rituals? Do you think
Yes.
routine and rituals are important?
Absolutely. They're just the juice of life. So the rituals that I'm thinking of initially, we have those things that we declare as tracks. So none of us like some of the jobs. Like when we're putting out the things, we lay it out. We have meetings every now and then, and we lay out all the things that we want to get done. So if we don't want roses planted out there, none of us are going to do it. So we go, oh, that's off the list. We don't need to do that. But we put the things that are big for us. And then we choose the big rocks, and they're usually based around our values. They're usually based around where we're going. And we say, okay, we need to prioritize these. And we do them in what we call triplets. So we'll do 3 jobs quickly, and they get done, in half an hour, but we do it 3 times a day. And that gets all our stuff done. Then when we incorporate business into that, we have the same kind of process, and we only do a 4-day work week. So we work Mondays to Thursdays. Our children have 3 days off to do things that are important to them. It's not Netflix. It's not, they do things that are big in their life. So they're doing meaty things that are high in their value. With these routines, though, it is the machinery that's running behind that we don't have to think about. It just keeps running. It's just like the big machine that moves forward. And so if one of us were to get unwell or something, the machine would still working. it would still work because it's running as a whole family unit. The rituals, we have a lot of them. So one of the rituals is that anytime someone leaves the home, we have this saying, I would change the phrasing now, but we made it when we were younger. But we got it off a movie, and it says, make good choices. And so anytime someone leaves a home, they tap in and we all yell out, make good choices. And it's a ritual, and it's basically saying, we love you, come back safely. And another ritual we have is we have birthdays, and we just have a birthday dinner, and everyone will come back from wherever they are, unless it's, we give grace, but they all come back for that child's birthday dinner, and they get to pick what they eat. It could be ice cream and peaches. It could be something, totally rubbish, but that is their night, and everyone gathers around that person, and around the table we all say one thing we love about that person, and that's a ritual, and it pops up every birthday. And another ritual we will run that hasn't happened in the last few years is that we would go away to a music festival every year. And so it was just making these times where we get to gel. Another ritual is that Mark and I will have date night Thursday night. It's a ritual because it says so much to the kids. It says we're a couple and we are putting this time away for each other. We might just go and sit at the river and throw rocks in there, but we have carved out and honoured this time for each other. I mean, a month ago we were just going and doing work, literally. We were going and sitting in the house with a bottle of wine and Chinese and trying to figure out how we were going to reno our house. But to us, it lit us up, even though it was work, but we maintained the ritual. And sitting down and figuring out what is big and what we need to do, and negative engineering, how that's going to be done, not just to get work done, but how to grow hearts, how to keep us tight. As soon as there's a fracture in a relationship, everything else falls apart. So you need to make that a priority and keep that tight. So rituals are massive, and each of our children have their favourite rituals and they protect them. They guard them with everything they have. They're messaging everyone, don't forget.
So much of gold from that one answer. I'm sure Sandra has answered many questions through that. My key takeaways was, I love the fact when you said that when somebody's leaving, you just tell them that make good choices, because that's what it's all about. Everything is a choice. Everything is our own choice. The way our life is going to turn out to be is a choice. And when you say that, all of you, it's saying that, no matter what choice you make, we're here for you.
Yes, yeah.
Love you anyway. Whatever could be a good choice or maybe an error of judgment, whatever that was, but we're here for you.
Yeah, yeah.
That's beautiful. And then again, I loved, and please let us know if you have any more questions, but I'm just going to keep saying because I loved all these things. And when you said that you, on the birthday ritual, you have this beautiful way of expressing, each of you expresses what you like about that person, what you love about that person. And that is so validation, because it's so easy for us to take our families for granted, family members for granted. We don't always find ways of expressing what we feel about them, and especially in specific stage of life, things keep changing, but telling them what we appreciate about them, it just validates and brings you close.
Yeah, and it reminds us too. It reminds us why they are special, because we forget.
Yeah, absolutely. And it also, as you said, it also makes you feel good about yourself and remind you of what all you have, all the resources that you have within. And another aspect of what Sandra said was always making sure that you have time for yourself. Like Sandra do have time for their date nights, and there's a way that the family knows that this is what's going to happen on this particular day. It's their time out, and when you do that, you show them that how it's important for them also to keep taking care of themselves.
Yes.
When they build their own lives, when they have their, further have their family, they will bring that along, that no matter what you do, you also have to spend time for yourself.
And I do that too. Once a month, I have one day where I go away, up to 24 hours. And the rule around it is I don't talk to anyone, because my whole day I'm having conversations or I'm interacting with a child or an adult or someone. And so once a month, I hibernate. I might go and book into a motel and read a book, or I might go shopping on my own, or I might go to a restaurant and eat without having to cut someone's food up. But it's the solitude, and the solitude is really lovely. And I'm a people person, but to have that time just for myself, to choose what I want to do within that next time is a real, it's food for my soul.
Food for your soul. And I love how
Yeah.
you bring the light, because yeah, there's always something that you do for someone else, but doing that for yourself and valuing yourself enough.
Yes. Yeah.
Beautiful. Sandra, we've learned heaps and tons from your being here. Poonam Srivastav, she's my mom-in-law, and look at the beautiful comment she has for you, Sandra. When you unencumber yourself from this burden, your true caring self shines forth. That's true. You have to be able to see yourself as a mom, but you also have to be able to see yourself as who you are.
Absolutely.
And when we do that as parents, we enable our kids also to.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your time today, Sandra. And I'm sure all of us here, they've learned a lot from just the way you've been living your life. And the intention of the collaborative minds is to make your everyday better. And what Sandra shared in our session today gives many tips to make our everyday better. So thank you so much. And for our viewers, thank you for attending, thank you for engaging, thank you for your beautiful feedback. If you have any more questions for us, for Sandra, please feel free to reach out. This recording is going to stay on our wall. Feel free to comment here. Feel free to individually reach out if you have any questions on collaboration, mindset, on family values. Please do reach out to us. And now I'm also going to add Mr. Darshan Patel to the stream, thanking him for.
Hi, Vandana. Yeah. So I think it's a special privilege for us to have Sandra on our show. This is the third consistent show, and we have maintained the similar consistency on our show, which is we run from India. It's 40th episode, which we have executed from India. So I wish the same success to Vandana, that she reaches to many families in Australia, brings that kind of difference to their life, and wish everyone gets a benefit of it and lives a little better life than what they are living today. So with that, I think best of luck to Vandana, and gratitude to Sandra to come on the show. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Hi, Sandra Robbins here too. She's saying hello.
Hey.
Beautiful comments from everyone. Everybody's enjoyed the talk and the conversation. And for those who missed out, Robin, to you as well, please feel free to see the recording. And I will be sharing the snapshot and the key takeaways as well later in my post. So thank you. And we wish you all a beautiful day and a beautiful weekend ahead. Take care.
Thanks a lot. Have a nice weekend. Bye-bye.